Welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City. I'm your host, Chanel Omari, and we have a very special guest with us here today. She's one of the most hilarious female stand-up comedians of our generation. I am a huge fan of her stand-up comedy. She is a stand-up comedian performing at all the hottest comedy clubs all over New York City, including The Stand, Governor's Comedy Club, Gotham, and more. She has also toured all over the world with Chelsea Handler. Super cool. You can also see her headlining the Brokerage Comedy Club August 13th and 14th, and you can see her on my show at the Chelsea Music Hall for All-Star Comedy Show. Please welcome my Jewish sister from another mister, Olga Namer. Live it, breathe it, learn it. What's up, Olga?
Hi, thank you for that intro. That's so nice. I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be on the show in my living room. I'm good.
Hey, I'm in my living room too. It's good to have you on the show because, first of all, you're super busy and super popular, and just I love your comedy. I fell in love with your comedy when I first saw you at The Stand, and I saw a bunch of videos on Instagram of you talking about just, coming from your Jewish Orthodox family. And so talk to us a little bit about, first of all, how did you get into comedy?
How did I get, I have no idea how I got into comedy. I was just like in acting school, and it was like, this school it was drama based. And anytime I had it was like method acting. I guess people had to the teacher liked it when people cried,
Right.
And then I guess I wasn't making people cry, as people would laugh, and she's like, why don't you just go and do comedy? And I was like, I didn't know that there was a class for that. You know what I mean? Because I was raised, you were raised modern Orthodox, right?
Yes.
I didn't know stand-up was a thing. Did you?
Yes, yes, but it was forbidden. That's what I want to get into with you, because in a Jewish home or a Jewish modern Orthodox home, correct me if I'm wrong, it's unheard of that you want to be a comedian. It's either a doctor or a lawyer, or if you're going to be an entertainer, my mom would always be like, you got to be a reporter on Fox. You got to get there.
Really? I didn't, my parents were just get married. It was not, and I already did that. And then when I got divorced, I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to act so badly. And they were just like, what are you going to do on Shabbat? So then I was like, oh, okay. As if I'm getting roles thrown at me.
On Shabbat specifically, right?
Right. So then when I got divorced and I moved to the city, I moved in with this actress because I was subletting a room, and then I was like, I want to do acting. And then she told me about some schools, and then that's how that happened. But the acting, I always just loved comedies. And I didn't know that, I didn't know Jerry Seinfeld was a stand-up comedian. Even though, how he does that stuff in the beginning of the episodes?
Yeah.
I remember being like, what is this annoying thing that he's doing? I just want to watch.
I'm so glad you admitted that.
Really?
Because I thought it, but I thought I was crazy for saying it out loud. I knew it, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I it clicked to me now, and I was like, oh, his stand-up got it. But I really, really didn't know stand-up comedy. I didn't know.
That's
at all.
Amazing. It's so this is why you're also my inspiration. I feel like also a lot of people's inspiration, because you're very authentic. So you'll say something, you'll admit it, and then it's but it's you are a successful stand-up comedian. There's a lot of people who, when I started stand-up, would tell me, oh, well, you need to know the ins and outs, and you need to do a lot of open mics. And I mean, do you believe in the traditional stand-up, or do you think anyone can become a stand-up if they work at it? And how is your journey with it?
I think that if you're meant to do stand up, I guess it will just happen. I didn't choose to do, I wouldn't wish this. I just wouldn't wish this life on anyone, even though it's great, but it's also very I wish I could not do it. I don't know why. Is that bad to say?
No, it's tough. No. You're being honest. It's like, you wouldn't wish it on your worst. I mean, we have literally,
because
you're going out every night to different clubs. Like, it's not ideal like people think it is, right?
yeah, and no, it's so much fun and I love it. But then it's like you also have to make a lot of like tough decisions and give up other stuff. Like dating for me is very hard, and just even like family event, like you miss out a lot. And I realized this like in the pandemic, I, when because there wasn't stand up, but it was like so hard for me. But I also got realized how much time like I'm not seeing my family and my friends, and because you just end up just it feels like this, I don't know, it's like a roller coaster that, and it's just a show after show after, and life just like doesn't pass you by because you're having fun, but it kind of is passing you by. Does that
Totally.
make sense?
Totally makes sense. I think, and to comedians and podcasters, I think it makes more sense probably than sorry, that's my dog.
It's okay.
Just for the sound, sorry, this crazy dog that I had, I
No.
love it, but he's just, so I'll start that again. But no, like in general, like I feel like if you're not in comedy, you don't really understand it, or entertainment. But yes, I totally get it, because I've had to miss a lot of family functions and I thought I was alone in it, or my niece and nephew birthday parties,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
work, you know what I'm saying? Because I worked also in radio, so I would do overnight shifts. I
Yeah.
would do the night comedy clubs, sometimes the midnight shows. So people don't
Yeah.
realize that you're doing all the legwork. They just see you like touring with Chelsea
Yeah.
Handler, or they see you, opening for shows, and they're like, "That's amazing." But what did she do to get like? What were the obstacles that got you there? I mean, do you want to share some of those?
Well, first, well, I didn't, I started in a class. I did a class, which I didn't, I wish I knew. I did it in a weird way. I did class, then I did, after that, a bringer show. I did this bringer show at Dangerfields. I said, they're like, if you could get us 50 people, we'll give you a month of shows, which I was able to do because I have a large community. So, but I mean, now looking back at it, like, I don't know, but like I was like scared to ask to be on a month of shows. I asked for like a show a week after bringing 50 people. And what I should have done is done it every night. But I was like, I get scared to ask for things. So I kept doing bringer shows, a lot of bringer shows. And then I started doing open mics. And that was, that was very good because it got me like, I don't know, that's where I wrote a lot of my material. And then after that, and then I did bark for a little, even like at one point. But then after that, I ended up winning this like thing, the Ladies of Laughter. And when I won that, that's how I got into they did this like show at Governor's. Like someone booked me on a show there, and then the owner saw me, and then he gave me tons of stage time and was like kind of like took me under his wing and like helped me and developed me into like I wouldn't have gotten that much like stage time if it wasn't for him.
Wow.
And then that made me, and now I don't know, I don't really, I mean, I don't know, now I'm still working, but that's,
Well, you got
I
to
don't know.
really, yeah, well, for the listeners, because they're fans of yours and comedians in general. And, I've been doing comedy too, but your level of success in comedy is the ideal of what most comedians want, right? Where they're performing all over New York City, they're getting booked, they're getting recognized, where you're not necessarily reaching out, but I'm sure people are reaching out to you, or like, I'm sure that, or there might be more for you that you want to achieve. Like
Yeah, no,
the
I
ideal
didn't
for
even,
you? Yeah, like what would be the ideal, I guess, success for you?
the ideal, I would definitely want to have a special, and then I want to write my own television show.
Amen. That is happening. It's in the universe. It's happening right now as we speak. Do you love my little
so?
Jewish yentiness that I'm sprinkling?
Yeah.
You're like, I have enough of it at home. It's all good.
No, I do think that it is important to like recognize that, because sometimes like you're saying those things, and I don't recognize that the things that I have done are like I guess, accomplishments. Like I don't feel like I don't realize that like, but I forget about the days that I was barking or like, you know what I mean?
Of course. I don't know. And why do you think that? Do you think it's from being raised like in an well, you came from an Orthodox home because I'm interested in that. Like
Modern,
modern,
but
like me. Okay.
I'm Syrian or
Right, the Syrian community. Dated many
I
Syrian
think
men.
you have.
Well, who will clearly why I'm single at 36 because it's so because I'm Israeli Colombian. I'm like an Israeli
Okay.
Colombian Jew. So I mean, and I grew up in Brooklyn. So I would
Oh,
so I went to like Flatbush and Rambam, and so like I knew like that's how I
you
kind
went to Yeshiva
Yeshiva,
Flatbush?
yeah.
I went to Yeshiva Flatbush.
For high school?
Yeah.
No, I went to Hafter for high school, but I went to elementary and then I went to Rambam. Flatbush
You
Elementary
know,
and then
my
Rambam.
brother, Max Namer, is your age. I wonder if you were in this
Same
ever crossed
grade?
paths.
Maybe
Maybe.
he knows my name.
I don't know. I could ask.
Is he
But
single?
it would be no, he's married. They all
All
they
the good
all
ones are married.
no, they all just get married so like young.
Well, yeah, you also got married really young. I mean, 17,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. In my act they say 17, but really I got married when I just turned 18.
Wow. So can you talk to us a little bit about that journey of like being married? It's just so fascinating being married so early and then divorced. But
Yeah. I mean, I got married. Yeah. I don't know. I got married. Everyone was getting married at that age. I mean, I was a little bit, maybe, no, actually, my friends are getting married like within like I was the first one. And then my friend got married like 3 days later. And then my other friend a month later. And then some friends a year later. But it's usually that age. But my ex-husband was like 18 years older than me, so that was a little bit like a lot.
was it
From
arranged or just more?
not
No.
no, I just like I loved him and I wanted to marry him. And my parents, they didn't really like him. My dad, he wasn't he was Syrian, but he wasn't religious. Like he drove on Shabbat, and like that was like a big deal for them. Like they got mad. But I think from that, like I wanted a little bit of like freedom of not having to like I just I don't want to keep Shabbat.
Right. I know. No, I'm the
No,
same boat as you. It's like my parents are religious, but I'm not.
I'm not saying like I mean, I think it's nice, maybe tradition, like sit down, have a meal. But like I don't know. I think in my marriage I was still keeping Shabbat, and I realized that like some of my like a lot of the fights had to do with around that. And it's like, who am I fighting for? Like this is not my thing that I want to do. And it's weird because the second I got divorced, that's when I started like changing channels and like little by little
You were like
until
your more authentic self almost, or what
I,
you wanted to do, right?
is that bad or I don't know.
No, I mean,
It
I'm
is
still going
step
through the
by
Jewish
step.
guilt myself, right? Like, I mean, it's like this guilt of like, we're raised, I mean, right, to like believe in God and Judaism and keep the Sabbath and keep these traditions that, like, if we don't, it's almost like you feel guilty that you're doing something wrong to someone, but you're not, because
Yeah.
right? Like,
Well, I don't feel guilty about the Shabbat thing anymore. I mean, I think I used to, but I'm over that. But what does make me feel bad or guilty is that like when I guess when I'm dating someone and then they mention Shabbat, and then it's like, oh, even if they're not as religious like that, they want it, but they just want to sit down and have a meal. And then it's like, that's where like, it's like, it just becomes a challenge because I'm gonna want to work. I'm gonna want to do shows. This is
and
and
was that
and
an
then
issue?
I feel guilt.
That's what I was gonna say.
What?
Was that an issue in your marriage? That were you doing comedy at that point?
No, I didn't even start until like very like I don't know, 10 years later.
Wow. So it was more like keeping Shabbat and like those were issues, more or
Yeah,
less, without.
those were just issues with him. Like, be like, you can't go to the mall on Shabbat. My dad says you're not allowed, but like, who cares? Like, whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Now I'm just like, I mean, is it bad now we're talking about it? I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess you could easily, someone like, if you started talking about Shabbat in a like way that I should be keeping it, then I would start having the guilt. But if I don't surround myself with anyone who makes me feel bad, then I could ignore it,
Same. Yeah, I agree with that.
right?
Yeah, same. Like when I was living in the city, it was easier for me to ignore it because I wasn't around it as much. And there's no like
Yeah.
shame, like Shabbat shame, kind of
Yes.
like, oh my God,
Yes.
you're not keeping it, or yeah. So that makes sense.
Exactly. And every week my dad, I guess there is guilt. My dad would be like, we're having a nice Shabbat dinner. We would love to see you. We want you here. It's more guilt of like, come back come back home and don't do what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's necessarily based in like the religion. But I do think that Judaism is like, it's set up for you to like, it's very hard. You can't leave. Like you really can't. If you're gonna keep it, you gotta keep kosher. You gotta keep all the holidays. You gotta keep Shabbat. It makes you come back every week, you know?
Yep. It's like that's why it was hard for me, because I didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I'd rather be spiritual and say I'm spiritual, but my parents are modern Orthodox, because I cannot keep everything, because then I would be like a martyr, like thinking that I'm some hero when I don't keep everything.
Yeah. And
It's,
then if you kept, I feel like if I kept everything, I would be a
unhappy.
worse person in the world. Like I would be like now I'm happy, and it's like I'm not, when you're happy, essentially you're like nicer to people, you're a more pleasant person. But if
Yeah.
you're not happy, it's like, what's my contribution to the world?
Yeah, and it's exactly like I would try to explain to my friends that weren't in the Jewish community. They had a very hard time understanding, like, well, why do you care what your community thinks about you and all this stuff, right? But it's because it's a small, tight community, and there's so much to go into. I don't know if you've ever felt like you were judged, or how did you cope with it?
Oh yeah, there was once I was always judged.
Oh,
Like once I sent my friend like this video of my early stand-up, like one of my very close friends, and then she spread it to the whole community and they all like made fun of me. Like it was like maybe this first time I went on stage, and then they all made fun of me, and then like my ex-husband's sisters got upset because I guess I said things about him in my early stand-up. Like, and it was just like a whole thing. And I remember I was hysterical crying. It's kind of like it's like it's a little bit like, well, you live your whole life in this world where everything matters because it's your reputation and how are you going to get married if people like are saying things about you. But then once you don't like, then, but it was a great thing to face because it's like the worst has happened and I lived. So like, it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care what people think of me. Think bad, fine. But I'm living like my life and I don't want to live for people who are going to judge me.
Amen. I love that, because I have the same mentality as you. I don't want to live for someone else. Like if me being happy is being a little messy or a little sloppy, but being a good person, but I don't follow every single rule, then so don't let the man marry. You know what I mean? So then if those men, and there's a lot of misogyny, which we'll get into,
Yeah.
like comedy in general. I feel like comedy and entertainment was kind of like my happiness. I don't know if it was yours, where you're like, oh my God, I feel free. Now I feel like I don't give a shit of what people think about me, because I actually have my voice. Like I'm writing my jokes. I'm out there in the world sharing. Like, does that make you feel a little bit more, at least?
I think that now, so in the beginning they were like, but now they're very supportive. Like they not support, but they like it. A lot of people like it. And like some girls are like, oh, like you inspired me, like blah, blah, blah. So like, that's nice to hear. And but also I guess going on stage now. Wait, what was the like going on?
I asked you
Right.
like 5 questions, so it's all good in one.
But going on stage now, like that, like, yeah, I do feel like I don't feel like I just feel free and like I guess I'm making people like happy. So like I enjoy doing that. Them, and it's like, and I think I did find the balance of like, I don't know, maybe I could like I don't have to be, I'm not rebellious against my community. I still love them and I still go home and I love my family. So like, but I think it took time to like get to this place where I'm not so like against them and they're not so against me, you know?
I love that. Maybe you can. I could learn from you from that because that's kind of where I'm on the verge of trying to. That was very beautifully said. It's like you don't want to be against them, and they don't want to be. You don't want to get to that kind of place, you know.
No, you don't want to have resentment because they all mean well. And there's so many, like, first of all, without my community or my family, I would have nothing to talk about. No, like, they like it, and they're all like, it's such a great, it's nice to have a support system. Like, even though probably like when half the people came to that show at Dangerfields, maybe because they were curious and they wanted to like talk, like gossip or whatever, but I was still able to get like 50 people to come out and watch, and that's like a great thing. And now they're, maybe because I am doing, I guess they like my jokes, like maybe they changed, like maybe in the beginning I was more, my jokes weren't as like not like edited, they weren't as good,
Polished. Right.
polished, yeah, that's the word. So like the message wasn't coming like clear or whatever, but now they know I'm just like making joke, it's more about myself, like I found my voice more, that like they appreciate it and like they love it,
I
and
love
that's
it.
great.
No, I
Yeah.
think that's a really good lesson, especially people listening. I think that's a great way to come from love and not come from like a resentful place, and
Mm.
accept that you have differences just like they have differences, but like you're not going to change who you are just because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's important to just, but it takes a really, really long time to like, I guess, like I was like so lost for so many years, but I think it's because I was so scared of what other people thought of me.
Yeah, that's a big I know, I can relate because I struggle through that too. Were you a people's pleaser like growing up?
Yeah, now it's weird. I don't care about what like my community thinks of me, but I care way more about what the, like, I guess in comedy, like people who are like ahead of me, like I get scared that I'm gonna like do something wrong or piss or make them upset, or, but maybe I don't know if that's good or bad, but I guess you're always gonna, maybe the people pleasing or the being scared, it will never really go away. It just transfers into some other form.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, right? Because like we all get scared of that. Is that person in that industry gonna like me? Are they not gonna book me? So I was wondering if you also had those similar
I
fears.
guess I think it's, I don't want, I never want to offend other comedians. I guess it really doesn't matter what, like, really what level, but I just, in the world, like, but maybe that's normal. Maybe I just don't want to offend anyone or be in a like maybe they don't want me on the show, or maybe I said something like maybe I said something wrong, or I don't want to like upset a club owner if I shouldn't have, like, sometimes like they get mad if like you do crowd work, or I don't know, like
Yeah,
you just want to do, you don't want to upset people, but I don't know if that's a people pleaser or just normal.
it's
I don't
normal.
know.
It's normal, I think. I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel that way. They either and they don't say it or they just feel it. So I think it's normal, but it helps to hear people like you share that because then we realize that like that's just normal feelings. And I think my
Right.
therapist tells me all the time because this also is a mental health podcast, but my therapist always tells me you can't really control, and you can't worry about upsetting everyone all the time, because that's what's going to get people upset, if that makes sense, because you're not even going to realize.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's easier said than done, you know.
Yeah, like I have a big problem asking for things because I'm always like, I don't want to offend them or whatever. But then someone's like, people or like annoy them, like, why is this girl asking? Or like, but then people, I mean, someone's like to me, like people, if people like to help people.
Yeah, exactly. Right, because I was gonna ask you, why is it so hard for you to ask? But I understand that too. Like it's
Because I feel like maybe I'm like asking and the person really doesn't want to do it. And then I'm putting them in a weird position, you know?
I see, right. I mean, but it's
Or
also
like,
worked in your favor, right? In a lot of ways, because that way you feel like when you
I
get
mean, I
booked,
never ask.
you never
I
ask. So
never
like,
ask.
so literally when you're on shows, like it's not like it's gonna
I
make me
never
laugh.
asked to
It's
be
not
on
like
the show.
us little hustlers. We're like, hey, can I be on your show? You like never ask at all. So like, oh
Never.
my God, that's G. That is skill. That is
Wait,
amazing.
sometimes I ask if it's only like if it's my friend's show and they do them like every single week and it's already like I'm in the system, like, but I just have to tell them when I'm available. Like I'll be like, hey, could I do Monday? But I'm even that I feel weird. But no, I have issues. Like I like that's insane. Like I should be asking for things.
Well, it's funny because because it's like we're both extreme. So like I'm very persistent because I learned that way because I came from producing behind the scenes. So I
Yeah.
learned from mentors that like I had to be persistent. Sometimes I get confused and I can also take a step back and I get scared like you, but at the same time, it's also good the way you are, because then you authentically get the right opportunities and you don't feel like you begged for them. Sometimes when you beg for something, you don't even know if you're qualified for that, or did you get that job maybe just because you begged? You know what I mean?
Right. I don't I think so, but then someone's like I'm talking like to another comic that's like, he's been in the industry forever. And he's like, how do you think I got this job? How do you think I got? He's like, I asked. And he's like, you have to ask to get. You're not going to get if you don't ask.
Totally.
But I'm still very uncomfortable with it.
But I think you're going to get more comfortable with it. I think asking is, especially in your situation, like you have made accomplishments, it's fair for you to ask. It's fair for you to say, hey, I've done this and that. And if you ever need a comedian, or if you ever need, a special on Netflix, I'm right here. I'm up and coming.
A special, hey,
special on,
Netflix.
special on Netflix, bitches, wake up. The woke generation, because, or having a team ask for you helps too. I mean,
that also I'm weird with. Like,
really?
I had like some managers and agent people that wanted to rep me, and I'm just like, no. I have like a lot of like, I guess I'm scared. I have not trust issues, but like, how do I know if this is the right one? Maybe no. And then I avoid, and then I don't know. It's just, but I don't know what's wrong. I just think that if things are meant to be, they'll just happen.
Yes. And I feel like we should take that page out of your book more. I think we should be
But
a little more.
maybe that's bad.
No. I think that's great. I feel like I should do that more, because sometimes I'm like overthinking, and that's where the anxiety develops. And then you overthink, and sometimes you shoot yourself in the foot by overthinking, because then you do make that negative prophecy come to life, I feel. You know what I mean?
Yes, but I like overthink with other things. So like like I overthink, like I feel like that person hates me, blah 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 blah, and it's like just this made up thing in my head that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, that's so
Or
true.
this person's mad at me, but it's fine. It's all. So I guess it's also important that someone told like to notice that like no one cares about you. Like no one cares. They only really care about themselves. And it's with both with asking and both with if you think you did something wrong. It's like no one's thinking like, oh, could you believe Olga Namer asked me to be on my show? Like, that's not even anything to repeat.
Right, you're right. It's so true. If we think about that, like most people care about themselves more, then we wouldn't care so much about if people are mad or this person's not answering us, or you're feeling ignored. Like that gives us anxiety. It gives me anxiety too. If someone doesn't.
Yeah, and like, by the way, I have the opposite. I also have this other thing where, so in the pandemic, because they never produced shows, but in the pandemic, I started like, I mean, I got opportunities for like to do private gigs,
Oh
and
yeah.
like and I would have to ask comedians, and I was petrified. I'm so sorry to bother you. Like, I have this, and it pays this, and it's my biggest fear. But then it's like, why, if someone asked me and offered me money, why is that a bad, weird thing to
So
ask?
true. So true the way you're saying this, right? It's so like seriously, this is what my therapist would be saying. Like,
Yeah,
why is it so bad to ask? You're like, I was even scared to ask you.
you
Like,
were.
yes, I was like, oh
You wrote the nicest thing. I was like, wow,
really? Because my
you were
anxiety,
so nice.
I
All you
tried.
have to do is just like, hey, bitch, you want no.
No, you know what the anxiety came from? It's like when you're in high school and you feel like, I don't know if you feel this way in the comedy world, when you respect certain comedians and you think they're really cool, you don't want to be the nerd. You don't want to be the loser. You want to be cool like them. So I was like, oh, God, what if she thinks I'm a loser? That I'm not talking in the in the comedy like slang, even though I know everything. It's like you just always are hard on yourself. I'm like, she's cooler than me. Why is she gonna? This is what's going
No,
on in my
I'm
crazy head.
definitely not cooler than you. You have a job. I don't know. So
Yes,
you,
yes,
but
you have a full-time job. You're a full-time successful comedian.
well, I don't know, but you're definitely
But
not.
I'm just trying to say, like, you see
Yeah,
how like you didn't think
yeah,
I would never think that you would ever be like scared or just like, but I get it. I get where your anxiety, I get like that too. I'm like, oh my God, I'm asking her to be on the podcast and I'm asking her for the show. But you don't know because you said, oh my God, I'm more than happy to do this. I'm more than happy to share my
yeah.
journey. And it was like so cool. Like you made my week. You really, I had a tough week from
Really?
dating these assholes, which I don't know if you can relate, which we'll get into, but you
Oh,
made my week. I was like, Olga Namer accepted me, motherfuckers. I'm good. Good
oh
in the
my God.
hood. Okay?
That is so nice. Like,
No,
you
really,
made
I feel
like,
that way. I swear on my life. Like, I feel that way.
really?
Yeah. Like, if a guy broke
Wow.
up, like, literally, this situation happened. This guy broke it off with me or whatever. We just used me, I felt. And I was having a hard moment. And so, what did I do? I was working on the show. And then when you answered me, I was like, I don't know if you ever get this way, but when people that you respect answer you or like you kind of feel your worth is climbing a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. I just didn't know that I could make someone feel that way. So that's really nice of you to tell
Which is
me that.
humbling, I know, and that's nice to right. But it's a lot of people feel like that about you. I don't know if you know that, but
Really? I did not know this, but thank you so much
really,
for
people
real.
don't say this. Like I'm confused. Like they don't say, "Hey, you're hilarious. You're
No,
amazing."
people tell me things, but it goes in my ear and out the other. And I think I'm the worst.
I totally get that. No, it's like I know
I'm
it's.
telling you, it's like,
And where do you
whatever.
think that stems from? I guess because I know that's part of. And we're gonna get into your comedy act because I want to know. I want you to share with the audience not too much because they should come and see you. By the way, you can go on olganamer.com right now, guys, and you
Oh,
can get your tickets. You
that,
can see what shows she's performing at, and on her Instagram at Olga Namer. Right, that's the
mhm.
Instagram that can follow.
Yeah, because my website, see, another bad thing, I haven't updated it since last year.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was updated. I'll take this part out. I thought it was
No,
updated. I was like, who's your website designer? I like this.
really? I haven't put up a new, I'm so bad. Whatever, I'll figure it out.
No, you know what
See,
it
I
is.
don't do anything to help myself. I'm bad at the
No,
business
you know
end.
what it is? Because I feel like I'm similar to you. It's like we need people, we do the work, but we need like a team to like actually execute because like you're probably spread so thin. Like just preparing for a comedy show itself and just going all over is all day. It takes up your whole day. Like how you supposed to sit
Yeah.
there, right? Like I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean, I like to like, yeah, like before a show, I like to like, I don't know, I have to like quiet my mind and like get in like some kind of like, I don't know, just I need my brain to like just, I don't know how to explain it, because I guess even though the comedy shows, like it's really like, I don't know how long, 10 to 20 minutes like each show, but it's like you need your energy to give it to people.
Yeah,
Does that make
totally.
sense?
Of course, yeah, 100. So what goes into your comedy set? Like, what do you do? How do you write your own jokes? Do you um
Yeah, of course. I write my own stuff. I don't even write. I don't know how I write. I just basically like I think of things, and then I have all these like I talk in my phone, I write in a book, I write in my notes. I like and then I go, "Oh, let me try that idea." And like sometimes like just I guess the punchlines just come to me. It's
That's
weird.
amazing. No, that's a skill, that's a gift because it's a lot of hard work, and it's
I don't know. I don't know how to like when people write and then they're like, I'm gonna do these jokes. What I do is like I come up with premises, and then even if I wrote the joke down on the paper, when I'm up there, it's either maybe I'll do the original joke and it will be like it will probably not do well. And then my brain is like, say this to save it, and then it saves it. Does that make sense? And then
totally.
that's
But that's a gift.
usually
That's a natural gift.
I guess. Well, thank you. I
That's
don't know what to. I'm like, thank
You're
you,
like, I don't know what to do
thank
with
you.
all these compliments. Are you sure you're straight, bitch?
No,
No, I'm
this
kidding.
is like so nice.
No,
Thank
but
you.
you deserve it. I think people deserve to hear nice things, and especially people that are talented and work really hard. And you've had, I love your story. I know. Can you talk to us a little bit about like the inspiration behind your set? Like, so who do you talk about? What do you talk about? Because it's a
Uh,
little specific. Yours. It's not like every single woman in the world that talks about like.
yeah. So I talk about getting married young, and then I guess getting divorced young, and growing up in a very like religious home, and how my dad's like very strict with me and always telling me what to do, what to wear, like everything. And then what I guess maybe what my thoughts like maybe I think the thing that comes out is what I was thinking back then, but would never say out loud to him.
Yes. Yes,
Like
that
the
makes
rebellious part of like, well, this doesn't like sarcasm tones to, well, like my turtleneck joke, I guess. Like
I love
I'm
that
not
joke.
really like I wasn't really like a whore, but at all. But it's like you're telling me I can't wear a tank top, yelling at me. But so who cares if I wear a turtleneck? I could still like go out and blow people, you know?
Yes, and that was very relatable. I think to any religious community, right? Like anyone who's been raised in a strict home or with strict
Yeah,
parents, it's relatable in general. So that's why, and I thought that was really funny because my dad's the same. My parents are very strict with me. That's why.
yeah. And it's kind of like when when they're like if you grow up in like a home with only healthy food and then you go out and eat junk food.
Yes,
Maybe that's I just thought of it. I don't know,
that's
but it's like that.
hilarious. You should totally, that is funny. That's a great analogy or like metaphor. It's true.
Yeah,
Did you,
yeah.
did your parents ever see your set?
No,
No. And
no,
what
no,
would
no,
they
no.
what would they think if they did? Probably like my parents.
I wouldn't be able to do it
Oh,
in
yeah.
front of them. And I think my dad would be like traumatized.
Right.
But he does, I do tell the jokes that I say about my mom, and he likes those jokes.
Of course.
Like I'll say I made that, like I'll share some of my clean stuff with him,
That's good.
like in person, not to watch me. I don't like when people watch, but my brothers came to my show once last year when I was with Chelsea. They came.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, I want to get into that. Chelsea Handler, what an accomplishment. I mean, every comedian's dream, every female comedian's
Oh.
dream to open up for her. Talk to us about that experience. How was it going
Well,
up
it
for
was
her?
during COVID, so it was just
Oh,
really. It was supposed to be 4 shows in Long Island and 5 shows at the in New Jersey. So it was like, but then the Long Island I don't even know if I could even say it was a tour because it was just 9 shows. Is that a tour? I have no
That's
idea.
a tour.
But it was in a tent during COVID.
But
So,
still, I
and
mean,
it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit like, I guess I don't like, so I was her opener. So it's me, then her, and there's no host, right?
oh,
I love, so I don't like going on cold open, like, hi, welcome,
right. Like it'd be easy. Yeah.
but it was fun. Her crowds are great. Uh, they're all like, I guess, same crowd that I would kind of draw. So it was like it was very good. It was a lot of fun. And it was, yeah, I guess because it was during Corona, it was like, it was nice. It was the best. It was almost as real as a show could be back last year in August this time.
Wow. And did she compliment you?
I,
Like, did
I
it
didn't,
feel good?
I didn't even get to see her.
Oh no. I
No,
know.
it's fine.
No, I know how
Cause
that feels though, because I've done it for Cedric the Entertainer, and it's like it's hard. You can't see that. I guess because they are like different times.
No, it was just she was very scared about Corona. She went from the car, and then like I'd be on stage, and they clean the microphone, change the microphone, clean everything up, and then they brought her up, and then she went straight back to the car.
Right. Yeah. Because of like, I get that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was whatever. But apparently they said she liked me because if she didn't, she would have kicked me off the show the first day.
I'm sure. Yeah. Because I heard she's just like a perfectionist. She's very hard. Like she's very.
Yeah, yeah. They said like she had like an oranges. She's preparing for her like HBO special. I think she had like oranges on stage, and they brought the wrong color orange. Like she was so specific. I want this color orange. So
Yeah.
like they're like, I'm sure she was like, oh, who's my opener? I want,
Yeah. That's amazing. But even just saying like I toured for, and opened up for Chelsea Handler, like that's such a big accomplishment in your career and in general in any comedian's career, so that's
Yeah.
amazing. Did you get any opportunities from that? Like, do you feel like you got, or do you still feel like you have to hustle even though you had that?
No, I don't think I got, except for the Stress Factory, they booked me more. But other than that, I maybe just a credit to say,
Right.
but no. And it's not even a credit. But I guess it is good because like I did, so now it's like I feature for Gilbert Godfrey now a lot.
Yes.
And I also got to work open like Louis C.K. I did 3 shows with him, and like I guess because I opened for Chelsea and then opened for Gilbert, and now like Louis took a look at me, and I got to like talk to him, so that was great. And like so I got more stuff from that. And so I guess maybe it's a credit for other comedians to like want to work with me.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great, because you always want those comedians that respect you and want to collaborate for sure. Speaking of comedians that you want to work with, anyone who's been influential in your life, like, and who were maybe the 2 main ones that you looked up to and you were like, oh, I want to do this, like they make me laugh?
I like Sarah Silverman and Larry David.
Ooh, love that. Those are great.
And I guess those were just the first. I didn't even know. Okay. So Curb, I always was in love with Curb. And then Larry doesn't really have much stand up, but the things that I saw online is so funny. And Sarah Silverman, I guess she was a Jewish, in the beginning, I would only look up female Jewish comics because and I guess she comes up. So I would watch all of her things. Oh wait, someone's calling me. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. How do I decline? Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
So I was like, wait, what was I saying? Oh, I just kept watching her and I was like, oh, because I guess you know how you were saying that thing about how in the modern Orthodox or whatever, it's weird for girls to do stand up, and they like think you're crazy. But then I guess I'd watch Sarah and I'd be like, she's not crazy. She's cool,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Same like
And
how
it opened my eyes to like, this is actually so cool. And then like then I started watching like Joan. She's great. And but before the pandemic on March 14th, I think, I was supposed to be on a show with Sarah. It was a Thursday that the shutdown happened. So it got canceled. So I never got to do that.
I was at Stand Up New York and only 5 people showed up. I was like,
I was supposed to do the show that night, but I ended up going to Governor's.
none of the good ones showed up. I was like, none of the good. Josh Johnson was supposed to be there too. Mark Norman was there, but like, yeah.
Yeah. I just did the show. Governor's had a full house in Long Island, so I was like, I'm going there.
Yeah, so talk to us about like the fact that you're a main feature on Governor's Island Comedy Club. Like, first of all, that's one of the most iconic clubs. It's the hardest to be booked at. Like, it's not that easy to be booked at. How does it feel like to be literally one of the main regulars and like the person making, like you literally set up the tone for other famous comedians to come there? Like, how does that feel? Like, how's that journey?
Do what? I didn't know that.
Or maybe I'm just making maybe I
Yeah.
just am a really admire from afar, being like, I just know everything about Olga, and this is really what she should be doing. No. Or maybe
I don't know.
I see you.
But
that's how I
yeah.
see you.
No, I'm always there. No. They basically, the owner like manages me and like really took me under his wing and like he's the one who helped me get the Chelsea thing. He just like believes in me and like he saw me and I guess without him, I think I would have quit by now. Like he really, the first year that he's like, all right, well, you're headlining. I'm giving you 10 months. So get your material ready. That was 2 years ago. And that like put tons of pressure on me. I don't know. And he just pushed me. I'm not like, it's weird. I headlined 2 years ago. And now I'm headlining this year and I'm still like panicked by it, but it's good. I guess I don't know. He pushes me.
And so I was going to ask you, like, do you still get nervous even doing it for so long before your sets? Like, is that normal to be nervous?
I don't get nervous for like a 30-minute set, but I get nervous for anything longer because it's like a headlining set is like people are coming out to see me. And if I don't want to ruin people's nights,
Right.
Like, and I'm very like, I need to like, I'm not like, oh, let me tell this long story and take up 10 minutes. I like to have joke, like, but maybe that's not the way to do it. I don't know. I'll figure it. This year I'm approaching the headlining set different than any other year. I'm just like, I'll wing it.
Yeah, because
I'll have my jokes, but I'm going to do it like, all right, let me just have fun with it as opposed to like, let me get this in,
Yeah, one time I was with my comedy coach. She said one thing to me that stuck, but I didn't understand it. She's like, have fun with it. Stop going into it like worrying every second, I guess. And like, what are people going to think? Because if you have fun with it, then your jokes will come out better. And even like the flyby, like you can, and they're coming to see you. So really they love you. Anything you can say is funny.
Maybe.
Maybe, right. But I think so, but
I think that's why he has me there all the time now. Cause like he wants me to get like a following in Long Island.
Yeah.
So
which is so interesting that he's helped you because I want to talk a little bit about the industry in general, like being sometimes like an all boys club. Did you ever feel that way? Or did you feel because he actually gave you equal opportunity and saw something in you and pushed you and didn't really make you like beg for it? Because there's a lot of like mean stuff that happens in this industry, especially for women, right? Like men will be like, you're not that funny, or you can't be on this show, or all this bullshit.
Yeah, no, I was so beyond lucky to have him because I think that maybe some of like he probably knows that's like some of the comics in there would be like, girls aren't funny. Like, why is this girl getting all the spots? But then I like whatever they see now, like that. Like, it's not like I didn't, I guess I follow through, like I'm doing my job, that, or he saw something and he gave me a chance, and I guess I worked at it to make sure that I don't like to fail people.
That's
So,
amazing. And you're
but
really funny. You're
he has
really,
my back.
yeah, and you're really funny too. So you can't take that away from you. Like you're a very funny, charismatic, entertaining person, beautiful person, and I just don't think
Aw,
anyone could take that away from you, right? So that's why I feel like you're,
guess so.
but
I'm
it's
like,
nice.
I guess so. Yes, I am. Yes, yes.
Yes, take it in. Yeah, be like, listen, be like, yes, babe, but yes.
You
Which,
see how my hair frizzed up throughout this con?
hello, Jewish hair. Okay, first of all, it didn't. I don't know how you keep it like nice and like
No, I
beachy
didn't. I just
face.
got out of the shower, so it
So you didn't
turns
put
into
anything
this.
in it?
No, I'm gonna have to blow it now when I
Oh, it
get when
looks,
we're.
I honestly, it does not look frizzy at all. Mine like gets so frizzy. It's crazy.
If I gave it another half hour, it will.
It was,
But,
well,
yeah.
also, can you talk to us a little bit about like in comedy, does fashion matter? Like, even though you always look so effortless, like, do you plan your outfits or you're kind of like, I'm a sweatshirt kind of,
Well, the sweatshirts are planned.
they, they are plans?
No, it's weird. It's like, okay, so I think I feel at first I would dress really, really sloppy in like huge sweatshirts. But then someone's like, you can't be so sloppy. Like, people are gonna like, I think it was like a JFL audition that I had, and they're looking to put you on TV
Right.
and you look like a slump, or you're
Yes.
wearing this huge sweatshirt. It's huge. So now I was like, all right, fine. I'll buy a little bit, like maybe a little bit not so loose, maybe a tighter jean, like one or the other, a tight jean or a tight shirt, or a big shirt. I mean, wait, big pants, tight shirt. Like it shouldn't be both, I guess. And I get, I don't know, I get like a little bit like, sometimes if I wear like maybe like a shirt that's gonna like show a dot of my stomach, let's say, I get very insecure. I can't be myself like on stage, because then, or if I'm wearing like, now I started also feeling, I used to wear, I didn't always wear sandals, but I think last summer I would have wore sandals on stage, and now I would not wear sandals on stage. Just got like, now I think they're looking at my toes. So now in the summer, it's like annoying, because it's like, I don't want to fucking wear sneakers and jeans every day. Like, I don't like that outfit. It's just like, I want to wear, what do you wear? I don't know. But in the winter, it's easier because you can wear boots.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
like
it's
I always
just
see your
weird.
style like big, like hoops and like a nice,
Hoops?
I don't know why. Like I think, well, I think one time, did you ever wear hoops?
Never.
Never. But I saw your hair up. I think it's when you did the joke, the blowjob joke. You had your hair up with once, like it was high up. So I don't know why I thought the hoops, but maybe I don't know. Hoops would look good on you because you have like a skinny face and
Like a big hoop?
yeah, like
No. See, I'm very plain. I'm plain. Like, I'm very like, I like plain, and like,
but I like that about you. I like that you're like chill. You know what I mean?
I think that if you look, I do find that with the audience, if I'm comfortable, then they're comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I do switch. So I'll always bring a sweatshirt and a t-shirt. And then sometimes I'm like, wait, should I wear the sweatshirt or no sweatshirt? That's what I'm thinking about right before I go on stage. I'm like, wait, tell me which one. And I'll ask like a million people. And then, yeah, that's what I do.
But it's interesting. It's a good question because I think people, you're right, should feel comfortable on stage, and then you're going to make people wear what you feel comfortable, and you'll make others feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think so. It transcends. Well, you're on stage bringing your energy to the people. So if you're uncomfortable, they're going to be like, well, why is she? It's weird.
Okay, I
you know?
love that advice. Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, and I also don't want to feel like in my head, like I don't know what in my head, like are they looking at my I don't know, my knees, I don't know. Are they looking at anything?
I
So if
know.
I'm in big, like if I'm covered, they're not looking at anything. They're just listening.
I see what you mean. You want them to hear your jokes and not look at like everything else that's beautiful about women.
I'm not beautiful, but
But
just everything like I'm insecure. If anything, I get insecure.
yeah, I know what you mean. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in terms like have you ever had that happen to you where like a guy would say to you you're not or how about this, a set, have you ever felt like there's been a set where you're like, oh, my jokes were really funny but like not a lot of people laughed, or just like a bomb, like you bombed? Have you ever been through that?
I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. Uh I I don't, well, there was reasons behind them. There was two shows that stand out. One was that I had my grandma's funeral and then I went to a comedy show. I headlined like I was the last, and it was not good and the crowd was bad, but I wasn't good. I was like, oh, I just like it was just bad. It was just, but the owner was at my grandma's funeral and he's like, why don't you, it was really the Adaya the week after.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why don't you just come? And they were getting up, they weren't sitting anymore. So he's like, come just do the show, you'll feel better. But it wasn't, that's what I mean by like having the right energy for the people. Cause that was one, it wasn't good. And then I think some girl yelled like, you're not funny. I made like a joke about cancer or something like
Should have
that.
been like, bitch, my grandmother just passed away, so
I think I did say that and I thought maybe I was joking about that. I don't know. So then it just wasn't good. And then another time I was headlining and at the brokerage actually, and I was on the train and there was, I don't know if you knew that the SantaCon Long Island stabbing. Did you hear of that?
oh yeah.
You remember it?
Oh yeah, like when the guy dressed up in Santa for SantaCon, when they dressed up all in Santas and he stabbed some, was it a girl? Like was it a random girl?
I was on the Long Island Railroad,
Railroad,
and
and
you
he was
see the
going on like a stabbing
video.
spree, right?
Yeah, and I was on. There's a video of it, and there's one empty seat, and that's my empty seat. I witnessed the thing, and I ran. I thought I was gonna die, and then we were stuck in the station for so long, and I was calling the club, and they weren't like. They're like, oh, she's exaggerating, like, because sometimes, like, I don't think they believe. I was like, I'm gonna be late. I just witnessed the stabbing,
Right.
and I had to like, I was, so I was doing the late show where I was headlining, and the one before that I was featuring for Joey Cola, and the host didn't show up. So then I finally get there and they're like, the host isn't here, you have to feature. They throw me up on stage, and then it was fine, I was doing fine. And then at the end I said, it like hit me. I was like, I just witnessed this fucked up thing. I think I might have said something. And then everyone at the end of the show was like, we just saw that. You know, and like when you're a kid and you like fall on the floor and you get like you don't know if it's a big deal. And then they're like, are you okay? And you start to cry.
Yep.
That it was kind of like that. And then for my headlining show, I don't think I was even able to remember, like, I couldn't really remember a lot. Like my lines were like, I just wasn't in it. I was like having like this outer body, and my aunt was there, and it was like so bad. It was so bad. That was a terrible thing.
But I'm sure
So that,
that's terrible. Yeah, sorry, go on.
yeah, no, that's it. There
No,
was
but
reasons.
that is a terrible thing, and that makes you more normal to say, like more of a regular person to be like, hey, like I'm a human, and that really like fucked with my set, like that, you know,
Yeah,
fucks with your craft. Excuse my language, but like fucks with your craft. You know what I mean? Like an actor,
big time.
yeah, like
I mean, you're supposed to essentially be like professional and be able to get through it. But I maybe now I would be able to get through it. But that was like, 2 years ago. I wasn't after Zoom and whatever happened in this pandemic. I think it made me much stronger, like in an actual room, because nothing's worse than.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say also to you. Like, and we'll wrap up soon. I'm so sorry. I like have so many questions, but like obviously
Oh, it's
we can't
okay.
spend all day. But like in terms of that, in terms of COVID and like just in general, like having sometimes like obstacles that you had to overcome to be funny. Like, does it bother you? Like when you go on dates with guys, let's say, or just other comedian friends or friends, like, does it ever bother you when people always expect you to be funny, or do people always expect you to be funny? Like, is there room for you to be sad? I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes there's
Um,
no room for me to be like upset. You know what I mean? I have to always be on.
no, I think I don't feel that way. I don't ever feel like I have to be funny.
Oh,
I
that's
think
good.
if I want to be funny, I don't even know. I don't know. I just be me. And if I'm upset, I guess it's rare. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe in Corona, but I wasn't around people. But I was around people that like I don't know. I could be moody with. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a weird question.
I
I
know.
only
It's a
get
weird.
like angry or moody, I guess, towards like I'll only be open with someone like who I'm really, really, really close to. And like, but it's rare. Or
Yeah,
maybe if I am, it'll be in a funny way. I don't know.
yeah, it is a weird question sometimes. I think maybe it's more based on like specific experience, but because I don't know if you get this dating wise. So let's talk about dating. Has it been easier or harder for you doing comedy, and also since you're divorced? Like, do you feel like how has the dating?
Dating has been hard because I'll go on the dates and then after, like, let's say I hit it off with someone or whatever, it always ends up being so like, okay, so let's hang out Saturday. It's like, I can't have shows. Okay, let's hang out Friday. I can't. So I can't. Like every day is like, I can't. And then it's like, all right, when can you hang out? And it's like in my brain, I get very much like, I like this person, but like, why would I give up something that I like am working for? Like, let me not stop doing as many shows or whatever for someone that I know for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 dates. And then what? It's just then it's taking away from my goals and I don't even know this person.
That's so
Right.
freaking true. Wow. Yes, and that's so profound because like we should all think that way. Why should we give up anything for?
But it's not good because then you have to kind of also make time. But I don't know. Now I'm like I'm not like I think if it I do think you have to like try and give and take, but it maybe you find the person who's like cool with you. Like now I'm dating someone and I'll have shows and then I'll be like, all right, let's meet up after like 11. Like you could find someone who'll work with you
Yeah,
on it.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like have you ever dated a comedian before? You said you're dating someone now, but I mean,
I don't I didn't date a comedian before. No. I didn't I don't no. I don't know. That would be like I don't know. I think it could be good,
yeah.
but then it's also like I guess it's also like I have certain expectations also from a relationship. And if it's like, I don't know if I would be, I wonder if I would be able to deal with that.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I don't know if it's like hypocritical, but like if let's say I'm dating a guy and then he's like, well, I don't know, like this is going to sound so spoiled, but let's say also like if I want to have a kid, I want to be able to have like a nurse.
Yeah. No, well, I was going to ask you, do you have kids or?
No, I don't have kids. or like a nurse or like a guy who's going to be able to like, it's very hard if you're both comics, like who's going to be around.
It's true.
I don't know. I'm not closed off to anything. I mean, if that happened, it happened, but who knows?
Right. No, that's great though. Like dating in general. I mean, it's been hard, I think, in general, like dating when, I don't know if you've gone this, but as a comedian, when guys are like, oh, you're a comedian, like, I don't know. I've gotten
Yeah,
that.
I think that
Gotten
I
that?
think that maybe in the beginning, maybe, but
Mhm.
now I don't know. Now it's like, yeah, I'm a comedian. If you
Right.
don't
Like,
like, if you
this
think
is who
it's
I
weird,
am.
like
And
if
not,
anyone thinks it's weird, I'm not talking to you. Or weird or has an issue, then you have an issue with me. So I don't want to like, you know, not an issue with me, but like then if you they're not gonna like me because that's what I'm doing and that's who I am. And if you don't like that, then you're not gonna like me.
yeah, totally. I love, no,
And it's
that's
like if you
great
don't,
advice.
is it?
Yeah, because like I feel like sometimes now, I mean, a lot of us still conform to what the guy wants us to be instead of like what you said, just like this is who I am. So if you don't like me, why would I waste my time talking to you? Like a lot of us
Yeah,
entertain people. You know what I'm saying? Like even though like we know they're not good for us, we like entertain them for some reason. And you're not.
I am not. I think I made this decision when I broke up with my boyfriend. I think it was like 3 years ago, and this is when I got like very, or maybe four. I don't know how long, but this is when I like made the decision of okay, I'm doing stand up. Like I'm gonna focus, and this is what I'm doing because I didn't want. I don't like when my world becomes the guy's world, and then I don't really have much for myself and like I don't want my life to be his life. So then I just like was like I'm never going to be in a relationship. I'm done, which isn't a good way to be. But and then I just focused on my comedy. I felt like it was something I could control because like what you put in is what you get out. And I don't know. And now maybe because I always had that mindset of like but I don't think it's good. Like I was like me like comedy first or me first, and then I don't know, maybe because I'm more like secure with what I'm doing, it's like when a guy I could be more secure. Like now I have my thing that I'm doing. It's not like I need a guy. I'm going to be with a guy that if he's going to improve my life, not make my life, you know.
Totally. Totally. And that's what everyone should do. Everyone needs like a career path or a hobby or some focus, something to like not just focus on making the guy their everything or significant other their everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you guys could, and then I mean, I guess the nice thing would be if you could find someone and you support each other and grow together, right?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Any
Yeah.
horror story that you'd like to share with us, like a dating horror story or a tip that we should learn to like kind of keep the second date
A
going?
tip.
Because tip,
Let me think.
yeah.
I mean, I probably had tons of horror stories, but no, I mean, I don't really. I can't give a tip because I feel like you can't give advice on something if you don't have it, right?
Well, do you go on dating apps? Like, how do you meet the guys you
So
meet?
I would say if like I'm like now because I'm dating someone for like 2 weeks, I'm a pro. But no, I will say like don't like compromise yourself for someone else,
That's a
right?
good, yeah,
I
I
think
love
if
that.
you're just your authentic self from, and I guess it applies to comedy or anything, like if you're just this is who I am and you're authentic and you say what you mean or you mean what I don't know. Now I'm just saying phrases,
And you mean
but
what you
I
say.
think it's good. It would be better because it's just like I don't be like a crazy person, but I usually it's just like if you're more open, then you're not playing a game. Like the right person that will like you for you will be there, and if they don't, you don't want to go on a second date. I guess I looked at as dating now as like it's annoying to me
Yeah, me too. I know.
because
Like,
you're giving up time.
yep.
But if you like someone, then it's great. It's great. But if it's like, if you like, I think you really know from the beginning if you're gonna like someone. And I wish I didn't like. I mean, it's nice to develop relationships, but I wish I didn't like lie to myself or say, Olga, you're just doing this because you're trying to get out, give him a chance, blah blah blah. No, I think I knew from the beginning. I don't have to go on 8 dates to know and get annoyed, you know?
Yeah, totally. That's such growth. That's growth. That's like making
Yeah.
progress, right? Because I used to like give guys chances over and over and convince myself like he's the one. It's like he just told you
No,
you
like, yeah,
suck
like
as a person.
trying to, right, like trying to fit him into you. Oh, maybe, and you know? No.
I love that. We have a
Yeah.
question from the audience. They want to ask you. We have 2 more questions. We'll wrap up. They want to know if you dated a guy. So there's a girl. Her name is Alex. She said she's from Minnesota. She says I was dating this guy for 4 months and he broke up with me. There's a whole long story here. She says, I'm not going to get into it, but basically I wrote him a letter apologizing to him after he ignored me, after taking me 4 hours away upstate and ignoring me and talking to some other girl, not buying me dinner, not offering dinner. And I write him this letter after he tells me and blocks me on social media. He blocked me on social media after he broke it off with me. And I tried to write him a letter apologizing about everything, explaining to him that I just wanted him to know that I was into him and that he wasn't treating me right. He never responded to the letter, and I hadn't heard from him for 6 months. I was blocked all over, and all of a sudden, he recently unblocked me 3 months ago, trying to get my attention here and there, but never apologized. He just said like, hey, or a laughing face. Do you think I should give this guy a chance? I also think the girl he's been seeing is watching my stories, but isn't following me. Don't know how to go about this. So I guess second
I,
chances. Would you block this guy back, or would you just kind of be the bigger person, be like, let him watch my stuff, but I'm not going to answer him?
no, I would not. It's so easy to say this because if she likes him and has feelings, then I would so let the guy back in and be like, oh, but no, like no.
No.
I don't think I don't. He didn't. I guess there's a lot of things. If you the not paying for dinner and taking you upstate and then he broke up with you and didn't. No, why no.
Like, why would you
Don't
take
let
that
him.
person back? And why do you think
Yeah,
men like that come back though? Like, if you're like, why does anyone come back like that? I mean, in your opinion.
because people like they like to like for their own like insecurities, like if they're feeling lonely, like oh, I still have her, you know.
So yeah, like I think that's actually really good advice. Like you shouldn't take somebody back who's treated you that way. And that's actually a good perception. He probably felt like this is the girl who liked me. Which by the way, men don't realize that we move on. Like we don't.
No, but girls do that too, though.
They do. Right, we forget.
I do that. I think I did that when I was young. I wouldn't do that now.
Oh, like you
But
text a guy
like
that you knew liked you.
not text, just like so when I was young, I think I would have like if a guy that I didn't really like asked me out and I know he really liked me. I think it was more of the thing I want to keep giving him a try, but also I think I'd be like, okay, but he likes me, so I'll hang out with him, even though I knew maybe it wouldn't go anywhere.
Right. And this guy now, you feel like because it's not a game, there's open communication. You feel like that's why, thank God, knock on wood, but like things can go places, right? When you have
Oh, yeah, I guess. I do think that for this girl, like, I don't think, I don't think the person who is meant for her would do the things that he did. So if she wants to have fun, fine. But if she's gonna get her heart in it, then it's just like, no. But it's hard. It's easier said than done.
I
I
know.
really like someone. Like sometimes I really, really like someone, and I like to pretend like, oh, but he likes me. And maybe I still think maybe they could, but it never ends up working.
Right.
It just ends up like, yeah.
Do you think she should block him and this girl that's watching her
No,
stories?
there's no reason to block. Just be like, you could be his friend
Right.
if you want to be his friend.
That's great, actually. That's great advice because then you don't lose anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Mental health tips. Anything that you could share with us that you work on with yourself when you have anxiety about anything, or just in general with this crazy fakakta industry that we love so much?
I love how I like mental. I guess I would say, oh, I actually love this that someone told me. Everything gets resolved with time and patience. So when you think something is like the biggest issue ever, it always ends up being okay with time.
I love that. That's beautiful. I'm gonna take that and we're gonna listen to that. What's your favorite
Awesome.
place to go in the city? Chanel in the city audience wants to know, like that you love to eat at, or just escape to. Something you can suggest to us to.
Oh, wait. See, that's the problem when they said that I didn't make time for life when I do comedy every day. But I mean, I do like the Soho House, but you have to I love it there. Uh, but that's not good tip for everyone. Let me think. Hello, I have no idea.
No, the Soho House is great. Even though you have to be a member, befriend someone who's a member because it is a great
Yes,
old time.
befriend someone who's a member.
I've been there a few times, but like it's a grand old time. I got to tell you, I feel very
I did like, I don't know if it's open, but I remember I used to like this place. It's on West 8th Street. It's a hotel. Oh my God, shoot, it's gonna kill me. The the Marlton.
I've never been. I heard, but I've never been.
Yeah, it's chill. It's nice. I think it's called the Marlton.
That's cool.
They have, I don't know what it's like in COVID, but they have a very pretty like chairs, and I don't know, it's chill.
I
I
love
liked
that.
it. Yeah.
Well, Olga, thank you so much for coming on Chanel in the City. Anything that you'd like to also share with us that's coming up for you? We know that you're headlining the Brokage Comedy Club the 13th and the 14th, so they can get tickets. Where can they get tickets?
Uh, it's at governors.com and govs.com, and it's the brokerage. You have to click on their club and you'll see me, because they have 4 different clubs. So the brokerage one.
The Brokerage, amazing. And then
in Balmore, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're also doing our show, my show, the Chanel in the City podcast presents
Yes.
All-Star Comedy Show, which is going to be an amazing lineup. And Olga is going to be on the lineup. You're going to be the main feature, and we're so excited to have you on that. It's at Chelsea
Thank you.
Music Hall, and you guys will be able to get your tickets real soon. We'll plug that in. And what do we see for Olga in 5? What do you want to see for yourself, Olga, in 5 years? I know this quick question's cliche.
I guess the Netflix. I like the
That
Netflix.
Netflix special, baby. Yes.
Or HBO. Anyone, either one, a special. Right?
I would love to see that and root you on, and you're gonna get it, and
Thank
you're getting
you.
it. I believe in putting it in the universe.
Thank you. Oh, and I guess be married and have a kid.
Be married, yes, amen. Yes, you're still young. You're gonna have. I mean, you're probably
Thank
gonna get
you.
married, and you're definitely gonna get married and have a kid and everything. I wish only well and good for you. You're amazing. You're definitely very unique in comedy. I haven't seen someone as funny as you in a very long time, and I'm not just
Wow.
saying that. Really, I've been around comedians, I've worked with comedians, and I love comedy, but I haven't seen someone as authentic. I think that's why I love you so much. Like I gravitate towards you. I think you're going to be super more successful than you are, and I just think everyone needs to jump on the Olga Namer The Olga Namer bag. That's your new merchandise bag.
Yeah.
But bag bandwagon. So like, because there's just so many more good things in store for you. So I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And
Yeah, sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say have a great day. But yes, what were you saying?
Where can everyone follow you?
Olga Namer on Instagram. OLGA, last name Namer. Hi, it's Olga Namer, and you're listening to me on the Chanel in the City podcast with Chanel Omari.